look at that record-setting win by heading over to those guys.
Thank you so much. Quick shot. Yeah, a lot of good things to say about Fnatic, and we'll get into that in just a minute, because I do want to focus on Gambit. Not quite keeping the gates for them, but a lot of improvements. I want to start with the draft immediately. We see a lot of teams just going for banning out Huni almost entirely, but Rek'Sai, Olaf trying to target Rek'Sai rather, Reignover in there, a different approach, and just overall a better draft.
I really liked the draft this time out of Gambit. Okay, maybe they put themselves in some tough lane matchups, but I think the way they ended up playing the composition from it to get the towers early was a lot better. Their priority on pick, Sivir, Azir in the first rotation. Yesterday it was Nidalee, Corki. I think whoever helped, or whoever worked on the Gambit draft today did a much better job, and it showed in the early game.
Well, definitely Sean's will have a hand in that. Coming back maybe to the jungle bans, of course, Rek'Sai, Olaf, Reignover's favorite. They still give up Gragas as a first pick, and it did seem that Reignover was a bit less comfortable than we have seen him in the last couple of games.
See, I don't think Reignover is necessarily uncomfortable on Gragas as a pick. I think he can play pretty much anything. However, I must know that I feel this was one of Reignover's worst performances. Still good. Like, let's stress this. This was a solid performance. However, his early game was shaky. This is the first time I've seen Reignover not have the most impact in the game. I feel he was ganking the wrong lanes. It's obviously my opinion. Maybe Fnatic knows better. But I feel you shouldn't be spending that much time trying to gank a Sivir lane with Spell Shield. When your support is Janna. Janna is really good at peeling and defensive capabilities, but in the offensive department, she lacks a little bit of things. And I feel that the early game could have been played out better for Fnatic, but this is just what makes them a fantastic team, and I like them. I like to see Fnatic go down early in gold and then see how resilient are they, because at Worlds, eventually somebody will challenge them, and it just shows that all they need is just one Baron and just one opportunity to just sneak that Baron and they get back into the game.
And that right there is what is absolutely separating Fnatic, even from H2K and Origin in my mind, is that decisiveness. How many times will we ever see a team say, hey, we're behind, let's not focus on small things, but as a team, what are we strong with? We can get this Baron as it spawns, because Gambit not quite in position, and then from behind, take a Baron and turn the game around. Very calm and collected.
Yeah, and all in all, I think this was a fantastic game, and we have two replays prepared to just show why it was so much fun to watch this, and get the first one immediately on your screen. There was a lot of skirmishing going on. Suddenly, Gambit was ahead, Fnatic was ahead, and this was one of the fights over in the bot lane where Gambit knew Fnatic was coming, so Reignover goes in, and everybody's almost playing this perfectly, but there's so many little outplays. Diamondbox connects to Kick, connects to Yellowstar, then switches the kill to Gragas. Meanwhile, in the bottom of your screen, you see Huni taking down left and right, and Febiven goes down to the Cabba shard. Watch Huni right now. He's going to preemptively try and juke the Q from Diamondbox. He thinks he comes out, then he flashes again. He's juking left and right. It's so hard to catch this nimble Huni, and so many outplays left, right, and center from both teams. And I'm just very impressed with the level of play that came out. Obviously, Gambit still have a lot of things to work on, but we touched on it earlier. We asked the people out there, which team is going to make that surge to the middle of the standings, and the way Gambit played today, it very might well be them.
Yeah, quite a good example of that is also when they had to defend rather their bottom turret, which we have an example of as well, because they know how to play their comp, and at this instant they executed it very well, so we're going to get that replay up on the screen.
Yeah, we will. This was at Fnatic get a little bit caught up pushing up. You can see Reckless, he had a lot of focus on him this game, but Fnatic, while they were attempting to kite back, you can see Febiven still hasn't really unloaded any of his damage until the Shock Blast, which did end up too, but keep your eyes on Betsy here. As the To The Skies comes in from Febiven, crucial. He forces Febiven to flash over the wall, picking himself up a triple. That was so well played by Betsy, and I think I can't really sing Betsy's praises enough for this game. I think he actually had a fantastic Azir game.
I think he did very well, and he actually ended up this game with the most kills he's had so far in the split, but his lane opponent, honestly, is underrated. Febiven is such a rock. He's so solid, and that's why we often overlook him or forget to talk about him, because there's always somebody shining on Fnatic. Whether it's Huni, whether it's Yellowstar, you know, carrying the pace there, or Reignover just ganking everybody. But I've yet to see Febiven just fail, just fall behind, or choke, anything. He's such a solid player, and I've been watching him in these fights, and every time somebody from Fnatic goes down, Febiven was there to clean up. So whenever Reckless went down, Febiven would kill that guy. So you trade kill for kill plus assist every single fight. And then at the end of the game, yeah, he almost made it seem like Jace has targeted skill shots, because he maybe missed one Shock Blast out of 20, and is such an impressive player.
So impressive, especially in the mid game when it was still pretty even. That one Shock Blast on goes to Pepper, and they just went in. When it comes to individual performances, Echo, it is a strong champion, but seeing Huni play it is very impressive. We were actually noting during that last fight, the best way is actually to ignore him in that fight, because that is when Gambit had the best results.
Yeah, at one point, if you don't have enough target CC lockdown to keep him locked up without preventing him to use his ulti, that's how you kill Echo. But it is so hard, and if you give him one second or half a second even, he will just press R or Zhonya's and ulti out, and then all your damage is wasted essentially. So what you want to do is kill the enemy team before Echo kills you. But yeah, it proves very difficult, especially against Huni. He has those styling kills where he just backs out and then he lets his Q finish it off just for styling points, and yeah, just mastery of the champion. Yeah,
fantastic. But Gambit putting up a very, very good fight. And actually today we wanted to know who you think is poised for a late season surge. And at Anivitas actually wrote, Gambit, they have the talent, they just need to polish it. They can make a gigantic comeback rather, and it definitely showed in this game. Well, we saw them give Fnatic a run for their money in the early game and have to build on that. Now, coming up next, Roccat will look to take down the Unicorns of Love and go 2-0 on the week. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back.
I think Bora hasn't died in the last 5 games or something like this.
No, it's like last 3 games. Make sure to keep run away.
Running, yeah. Running 24/7.
And then let's our AD carry die.
Why did no one flash in front of the Varus ulti, by the way?
Sorry. The parallel convergence should be enough to stun Diamond as well as CaboShot.
Oh, nice.
Good job. You wanna stay? You wanna stay?
Bevervin and Huni are on to Gosu as well as Forgiven. He's been dropped as CaboShot is trying to rampage across the fight.
Jonah?
I guess that's one, I guess that's one. I think Gragas.
Oh my.
Finish Huni. Kill Vivian.
I'm moving.
What about Sivir?
Look at here. I got it. Azir low, help this guy.
Group.
Listen to flash.
Group up, go Huni,
I'm moving.
Huni, come.
Nice.
Fnatic are onto the Nexus and they set a new European winning streak record. 10-0 in summer. The first team ever to do it.